congratulations on this series. The first one was magnificent. This
Thank
one
you.
takes it up a level. So what's the challenges of taking what was the first book and then extracting the characters from that and the atmosphere and tension and making it into a completely separate show?
Well, it was an exciting venture. I mean, obviously, my dad wrote the first book. He created a pretty extraordinary world for the show, but at the same time, he never wrote the second book. I don't know why, but he forgot. Had other things to get on with. So he left it down to us. I mean, we talked to him a lot about extending it, and it was something he wanted to do. Sadly, he died before we had the chance to get it done. But it's a pretty thrilling process to sort of take the world that he created, some of the characters he created, and imagine how he would be responding to the world today, and to build new characters, new story around that. I mean, sadly, the world hasn't got an easier place since the first season, so there's plenty to tell stories about.
And the Tolkien family weren't always happy with the adaptations of their father's books. How happy have you been to have Hugh Laurie and Tom as executive producers on this?
Well, they've been great, and Hugh is a huge fan of the book. He knew my dad quite well, so him wanting to stick with the show as a producer was a lovely thing for us. And Tom is extraordinary. I mean, he is the embodiment of Jonathan Pine, and he understands that character like nobody else. And so, having them there to help us kind of navigate through that world was wonderful.
And I've probably watched the Sir Alec Guinness series of Tinker Tailor more times than I care to remember, and that was set in a very gritty Eastern Europe, whereas here you have some fantastic locations, more accustomed to James Bond, but with none of the frippery and solid intel work in there.
Yep.
So how delightful is it just to combine those two in the right combination? It must almost be like being some kind of master chef.
Yes, I mean, we travel a lot. We go to extraordinary places. I mean, I think, I hope our audiences will find this show visually stunning as well as telling a brilliant story. But at the same time, it's very much not James Bond. I mean, I think it's very grounded. It's very real. It's a story we made up. At the same time, somebody who works for the British government doing slightly dodgy things the other day saw the first episode and said to me, "You have no idea how authentic this story is." And that was very good to hear. I think it's a little bit close to the bone, and it does have that real sense of grounded tension, almost of fear that you get from being in the real world. And but at the same time, it has the scale and the excitement and the rich and attractive worlds that do take us a little bit closer to James Bond, yes.
Well, congratulations. This has been fantastic to speak to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!